Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? How's Monday been? Look, this afternoon I was planning on doing the brand new tomato soup looking thing out of the new collection that arrived last night. However, I was about to prep for it and I thought, oh, let me have a closer look. Little did I realize when I picked it that it was actually a cold soup / drink. So I had all the ingredients for it and I thought, what can I do that's similar? Because we really don't want something cold because it's already cold enough here. We want something warming. So I just switched it straight to a tomato soup. So I love cookie dough. I love the fact that I could type in tomatoes, type in the things that are the other kind of things that were there, and it came up with suggestions. So let me show you the creamy tomato soup recipe tonight. This is a winner. 4.9 stars out of 5. Can't go wrong with that. So let's get started. It's in my planner. You'll see the other one was in my planner too. Wait till we get there. So yeah, Salmorejo. I don't know what that is. But anyway, sounds interesting. In it, I actually do have the stuff to go on top. So I'm going to put the boiled eggs on top and I'm going to put the diced ham on top as well, even though we're having it as tomato soup. But anyway, Aussie meat pies. Those of you who are online this morning, you would have seen me make the beautiful short crust pastry and puff pastry for that. And they were delicious. And now creamy tomato soup. So my only advice if you're ever making those that pastry recipe is double your short crust, because the short crust wasn't enough to keep up with the puff. I actually ended up combining it in making one big one by the time it came to the end. All right, let's go. Creamy tomato soup. It looks amazing. I am excited. What are you having for dinner at your house? So if you're on today, let us know what you're having. 1 clove of garlic. Check. In that goes. And say hi if you're watching as well. Okay, 50 grams of onions cut into halves. I've just got a purple because that was what was left over. And mine's spot on 50, winning. Okay, on with the lid, we're going to chop this down. So it's got 3 seconds, speed 5. Now we're going to make this dairy free tonight because I've got 2 out of 4 of the kids are not well. And if I give them dairy, I can guarantee that'll just make the noses run a bit more. So I'm going to, oops, sorry guys, I'm going to skip out the dairy. And so I'm going to be using coconut cream instead of cream, and I'm going to be using oil instead of butter. So it certainly works easy enough. Okay, 30 grams of butter or 30 grams of oil. In it goes. Or 33. And let's cook this off. So insert the lid. And it's going to cook for 3 minutes, 120 degrees, speed 1. So the next step, it's going to ask us to add some ingredients. It's going to ask us for some tomatoes chopped in half. So I've got my tomatoes, 700 grams. It's going to ask for some tomato puree. I'm not sure what they exactly mean by that, but I'm going to presume they mean tomato paste. So I've got my tomato paste out. They're then going to ask for some pepper, some veggie stock. Now, if you haven't got your veggie stock, you need to make this. It is not the same without your homemade veggie stock. If you've got chicken or beef stock that you've made yourself in your Thermomix, that will do as well, although I just make veggie and use it in everything. And then it's going to cook. So after we put those in, it's going to chop them down. It's going to cook for 15 minutes, and then at the end, it says to add your cream and serve it up. So that's the plan for that. Good evening, Carissa. Lovely to have you on. Tacos tonight. That sounds absolutely amazing. Haven't had tacos in a very long time. Now, for those of you with the TM6, you'll know that you can use the 3 dots at the top here to go recipe details and check those next things that you need to have out. No need to have an iPad on hand. And even the TM5, you can do it on the bottom left corner. There's a little triangle and it will let you do full view, which will allow you to scroll down and see what comes next. So no need to have an iPad out or anything like that to follow the recipe. You can do it straight on the screen and see what comes next. So that's there as well. Oh, there's a bit of salt and sugar, oregano as well, and some water now that I'm looking more closely. So there we go. So please remember to tell your friends and family this month that the amazing vacuum cleaner featured right there behind me is on sale for $49 when you buy a Thermomix. Normally in the Mix It Shop it's $299. This has been getting a workout. Today we went down and vacuumed the caravan floor out, the very corners that we normally can't get into. Amazing. The tunnel boot with its, we've got like a floor mat, vacuum that out. Finney used it in the car yesterday to clean out some more of the car. I had started that and he finished it. It's amazing. Okay, if you're like, oh, it's just a vacuum. No, it's not just a vacuum. It is one that you can just use for all that stuff that you'd normally have to get a big vacuum out for, and it just does a fantastic job. So $49 when you're buying a Thermomix until the end of this month. otherwise $299 in a mix shop. But even if it wasn't for you, maybe you've already got a fantastic little hand vac you love, a gift for someone else, it's perfect value for that as well. But absolutely love it. So highly recommend it. I love it more than I thought. I am excited to get my upright that's on its way. I feel like Thermomix is telling me that I need to clean my house more though, which has me a little worried, because cleaning, not my favourite thing to do. Not with 4 boys who seem to think that making a mess is lots of fun. So here we go, 17 seconds left. This is smelling really amazing. That onion and that garlic being cooked off, beautiful. If you ever wanted to skip this step, okay, say you're in a real big hurry, a little tip. Purple onion doesn't need to be cooked off and sauteed, so I could have skipped that. However, the garlic does need to. Garlic needs to be sweetened, but if you use garlic powder or garlic granules, you can skip that step. So there you go, little tip to make life even faster if you need it to be. Okay, 700 grams of tomatoes cut in halves. Now, another little tip with tomatoes is, number one, don't worry about removing the bits on the end, but with the tomatoes, sometimes your tomato soup will end up orange. Now that's actually because often your tomatoes are gas ripened, so they're not naturally ripened on a plant. Because you can imagine if the tomato farmers picked them fully ripe on their plants and then sent them direct to the shop fully ripe, can you imagine how squishy they'd all be sitting on the trays ready for us to buy, and how we'd never get them home ready to use? So they're actually gassed to make them go orange or go red. So that means the inside isn't quite as sweet as it might otherwise be, but also not as red inside. So when we blitz these down, you'll often see your soup go orange rather than the beautiful outside red, and that's the reason why. 70 grams of tomato puree. I'm going to use paste. I am mindful though that maybe their idea of paste and puree is different, like to what I'm doing. So I am going to skip on the salt. I'm going to leave that out because it's easier to add salt at the table later, right? So I'm going to skip that out for the moment, knowing that tomato paste is kind of salty anyway. So let's skip that out. 1 teaspoon of sugar. I am going to include that because of that gas ripened tomatoes. You'll find that they are often that little bit bitter tasting, okay? Not so bad if it was your homegrown tomatoes, and I will often make this recipe with things like your cherry tomatoes, because you're picking them off the vine, beautiful, ripe and ready to go. So it says 1 teaspoon. That was a very small spoon. Just let me try again. Digging in the bottom of the basket at the moment. All right, and now 1 teaspoon of dried oregano or dried pizza herb. Oh, the onion is starting to get my eyes. And I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to chop this down. Good afternoon, Denise. Lovely to have you on. Okay, 5 seconds, speed 5. Let's let it go up to speed. You'll hear it go up rather slow because it's 80 degrees inside. There it goes. Still a little dance. All right, let's chop that nicely down. And now we're going to add 500 grams of water. By the way, if you've just made something that has leftover whey, add the whey into it. It would be beautiful at this step. Let me just show you what's going on inside there. It's a bit of a slushy mess. A bit like a salad or a... what's it called that you put bruschetta on? Is it tomato that you put on the bruschetta? Can't think what that's called. That's what it reminds me of in there. All right, 500 grams of water. Oops, 5. Oh no, I'm leaning on it. There we go. Keep going. All right. Please don't touch, lovely. We've got a little helper just turned up. We're going to be quiet and watch. I'm just going to stop a bit early there. It's only 20 grams, but only because otherwise I'll probably end up going overweight. Now, beautiful veggie stock paste. The key to an amazing recipe. Can you pick that up and take it outside, please? I'm doing my video quickly. Thank you. We need 1 heaped teaspoon. So it's actually not the usual tablespoon one would expect in our main meal recipes. So go easy on it, but I do suspect it'll also be because you've got that beautiful tomato paste in there as well. By the way, if you don't have tomato paste, start with a tin of 400 gram diced tomatoes and cook it for 20 minutes on Varoma. And that'll actually cook it down to a concentrate for you. So that's how you can do your own tomato paste. All right, on with the lid. We're going to finish this up now. So it's going to cook for 15 minutes. 100 degrees, speed 2. Now, I could do a few other things in this time on top in my Varoma. So please always remember your Varoma, okay? It is your secret hidden little bit of jewels you can use for your Thermomix to make it easier. So you could be putting your Varoma on top, and you can put some eggs, some sliced chicken, some salmon. If you don't want the juices going through, put baking paper under it. Instead of 100 degrees, you want to click on it and make it varoma, and the rest is perfect. Okay, with chicken though, just a little tip, you normally want to do 20 minutes, you can keep extending it. Just take the timer up, just click on it, make it 20, it'll be fine, but don't make your chicken bigger than your finger, okay, because otherwise it won't cook through. Salmon fillets, perfect in this time. Boiled eggs, perfect, if not a little bit overcooked in that time. So there you go. Remember to maximum use up the rest of your capacity if you want on a recipe like this, because it's perfect to do so. After this time, let's just look at the last step before we go. So the very last step will be to puree it. Let's have a look. Now we're going to add the cream, some basil, some parsley, and it blends. So you go from speed 4 all the way up to speed 8, and it's going to go for, what's that say, 1 minute. So it's going to be silky smooth by the end, and then serve it. Another tip is you can make this early and keep an eye on your little glowing lights here. When they get to green, it means it's not going to burn your mouth. It's going to be 60 degrees and ready to go. So if you did want to make this earlier in the day, you certainly could leave it in your Thermomix for quite a while, I reckon, probably an hour or 2 or 3, so that it actually cools down enough then to eat and enjoy. So, all right, guys, have a fantastic afternoon and evening. Take care. Let me know if you'd like a demonstration. We can do a demonstration online, face-to-face, depending on where you are. And get you some host rewards and show your friends about how simple life can be with a Thermomix in the kitchen, because I don't know where I would be without having a Thermomix here to do all the cooking and the stirring for me, so I can go cuddle my little people who are a bit under the weather at the moment. So I am going to love you and leave you, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon. So take care till then, and let me know if I can help in any way. Bye for now, guys.
Mom, what are we making?